Guys, I did my live tonight, and y'all think I'm still protecting Gypsy. I'm not. I have proof that everything she says is bullshit, and I'm not protecting her. I'm protecting me, my mental health. Every time I go after this woman, she friggin' attacks. She's taken so much from me. And if y'all don't understand that I'm trying to protect my mental health, then I have nothing to say. Like, I am so friggin' mad at this woman for the shit she has done. So mad. And no, like, I didn't accept her apology. She called me that whole week. I never answered the phone. Like, guys, y'all can think what you want, but I'm just not into friggin' trying to ruin people's lives like she tries to do to me. Does she deserve it? Yeah, she does. But I'm better than that. And I want y'all to realize that. I am better than that. And if y'all don't understand that, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not protecting her. I'm protecting me, my mental health.
Hey, Ryan. So this is for you. I know that you want to please everyone, but you can't. This is social media, and not everyone's going to like you. Not everyone's going to love you. Some people are always going to find an issue with you, and some people will always love you and always support you. But at the end of the day, this is your life, and it's played out on TV. For you, unfortunately. So a lot of people view it as entertainment, but for you, it's not. This is your real life, and you've had to deal with a wife cheating on you publicly, your wife getting pregnant on you publicly, and then trying to defame you and villainize you. And for the public, it's entertaining, but this is your real life. And you really have to protect your energy, your space, and how you deal with this situation. Honestly, I would never suggest you going on a TikTok live and spilling all the beans. If you are going to spill all the beans, put it in a book. Because what you've been through, get a check. You and your life is not for our entertainment. Gypsy maybe, because she deserved it. But you, nah. So I would have never suggested you coming and spilling all the beans anyway. But just protect your space, put you first, and don't worry about the rest. Gypsy Rose Blanchard did an interview with Good Morning America. Let's go through it. Run the clip.
Speaking about her life after prison, where she served more than 8 years for plotting to have her mother killed after years of abuse. Juju sat down with her. Oh, good morning to you, Juju.
Good morning, Robert. It's quite a story. And you'll remember, Gypsy spent those years in prison for helping plan her mother's bloody murder. But that was after surviving more than 20 years of abuse by her mom's bizarre medical lies about her. Now, Gypsy says she's trying to set the record straight. And she's just learning to navigate the wild ups and downs of the first few months of real freedom she's ever known.
Hi, I'm Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
She's an unlikely social media star, from her makeup tutorials
Get ready with me.
to her secret prison recipes.
I'm about to show you how to make a prison-style energy drink with only 4 ingredients.
The controversial and complicated Gypsy Rose Blanchard has amassed nearly 10 million followers in the 5 months since getting out of prison. Hi, Gypsy.
Hi!
Some people might hide from the spotlight, but you're going in a different direction.
Sometimes I kind of feel like I have no choice.
What do you mean by that? Certainly you have choice. You don't have to post.
No, I don't, but I mean, I think that with social media is concerned, I think that I wanted to be like everyone else, and have that right of freedom to have social media and interact with my friends online. I had no idea that I would have 9.8 million.
The entire interview is a hot mess express, but let's talk about it. One thing that I think is very, very abundantly obvious is that Gypsy is disassociating herself from the crime that she committed. And she feels like either she picked herself or she picked her mom. She's not being honest with the fact that her mom was very sickly at the time that she had her unalived. She's not being honest at the fact that she wasn't in imminent danger, and at that point, she could have walked out the door. I think a lot of people really aren't realizing she was 23 years old, and she's now 32 years old. This interview was so dishonest. Furthermore, where she says the only perfect victim in people's eyes are the ones that are not alive. No. The perfect victims are the ones that didn't unalive their mom and then make up stories and villainize their mom. She has disassociated herself from this crime so far, and I'm kind of disappointed in Good Morning America that they felt like this was okay.
Gypsy's fame and infamy came after she pled guilty to second-degree murder for plotting to have her mother killed after years of abuse. Her mother, Diddy, forced her to undergo unnecessary surgeries, shaved her head, and kept her in a wheelchair with a feeding tube. You're often portrayed either as the victim of Munchausen or the murderer.
Right.
And what do you want people to know about you?
Quite honestly, I'm starting to feel like they want the perfect victim, and there is no such thing as a perfect victim. In their mind, the perfect victim would have died. And so now that I survived and the perpetrator of the abuse is the one that died, then I'm getting the hate.
With new freedom comes a new look. She's gone blonde and has had cosmetic surgery, including a nose job.
I have always been very self-conscious of my nose. I wanted to do it for myself, my self-esteem, what would make me feel beautiful about myself.
That surgery must have felt different.
It did. It did feel different because I got to choose whether or not it was necessary.
In December, Gypsy was granted parole after serving more than 8 years in a Missouri prison.
Lots of them.
Her first months of freedom captured in a new Lifetime docuseries, Gypsy Rose, Life After Lockup.
Not every day's a fairy tale in life.
While still behind bars, Gypsy met and married Ryan Anderson, and cameras were there as he picked her up from prison to begin their new life together in Louisiana.
What if I snore?
Well, then we gotta get a divorce right away.
But by April, Gypsy filed for divorce. What's so wrong so fast?
People need to understand that Ryan and I had been in a relationship for 3 years. And in those 3 years, we went through a lot of ups and downs. And sometimes relationships just take its course.
And there was some intimation, some reporting out there that you were afraid of him. Is that accurate?
I'm not afraid of Ryan. I think that there is some things that happened that I think we both wish wouldn't have.
Anderson's attorney telling ABC News any allegations of abuse leveled against Mr. Anderson are false and adamantly denied. And we consider any such allegations to be defamatory in nature. Do you regret the marriage?
I regret getting married while I was still in prison. I don't regret the relationship.
Now Gypsy is focused on moving forward while making peace with her past.
Did you guys see what they said about Ryan Anderson? Okay, let's break that down. So on the record, Ryan was not abusive. I told you guys she was trying to villainize him. And I don't know what happened in that courtroom or what was said, but somebody said something and said, girl, don't play with it, don't play with it, don't play with it, don't play with it. Okay? Now, so that's first. Second, something that's really worth noting is the fact that I actually spoke to one of Ryan's coworkers that ran into Ryan and Gypsy, along with other people from work that ran into Ryan and Gypsy. And collectively, they all said that she was very manipulative. What I think is also interesting is that she sent a note to a teacher in the school and told her to back off of Ryan Anderson. And I don't think that was the only communication she had with that teacher or reached out to that teacher, but it was definitely uncomfortable within the school. Furthermore, if it's crazy. There was plenty of times where Ryan would say she was very controlling. She'd tell him what to do, and that she was verbally abusive. And this is all alleged because this came through a source that messaged me yesterday, way before any of this came out, which I think is ironic that it came out at this time. But I think that's something for you guys to keep in mind. And then seeing this, I felt like just solidified that.
You got a lot of backlash on Mother's Day.
Mm-hmm. It does not go without notice that my own biological mother is not here.
What do you feel like the backlash was about? And what, if anything, have you learned from it?
Being associated with anything to do with a mother or mother figure, I'm going to get backlash for it. I wanted to acknowledge her. I wanted to honor her memory. And if I got hate for that, then so be it.
And Gypsy Girl, nobody is mad at you for mentioning anything with a mother. The reason why your Mother's Day post was disturbing was the fact that the whole post was all about you. You started it off very aggressive and invasive, and you were trying to check people instead of giving accolades to the people that you thought were important to you. That post was disgusting, and you know it. So for you to say this was kind of crazy. But also, I think it's funny that they're asking Christy, how does she feel about being called mom? Well, everybody knows what you did to your last mama, honey, so okay. Christy could fall for it if she wants to.
At this point, you're aware
that you will always be associated with
Mhm.
as somebody who
Mhm.
helped murder her mother.
Right. I go through my own guilt on a daily basis. And so it's not like I could ever hide from that. But I don't know if people want me to curl up in a ball and just start crying all the time. I can't live that way. I have to heal myself.
You've moved back in with dad
Mhm.
and stepmom, but you call her mom.
She has been the one person that I know without a doubt has my best interest at heart. Hey y'all, so me and Christy are in NOLA.
Christy, what do you think about how far she's come?
Oh, she's come a long way. She's not a little meek girl anymore.
And what motherly advice do you give her?
What you don't know doesn't hurt you. What people say about her shows their character, pretty much. And just knowing her heart, and the people that know her and love her know the truth.
She
What is
can't even
true?
look at the camera
The truth
or
is
at her.
that she is remarkable.
I might have to rewind this and look back, but I want you guys to look at Christy's face when they asked Christy, what is the truth? She looked away and she said, she's remarkable. Like what? And she also said, what people have to say about her says a lot about their character. No, it just shows that a lot of people haven't done their research. What's kind of disappointing about this Good Morning America interview is that clearly the interviewer didn't do her research and really doesn't know that much about Gypsy and just did this interview. And I think this one was very crucial for her to really know what was going on. Also, I think it's interesting that she constantly says, quite honestly, in a lot of her interviews. And we know everything after quite honestly, Gypsy ain't telling the truth. Y'all know that.
Now, Gypsy says she's often overwhelmed by choices, like in the grocery store, everywhere, all the decisions she has to make for herself, really for the first time ever. But one big choice she's made recently was to rekindle her flame with her former fiance, another man she first met as a pen pal behind bars. She's called him the love of a lifetime and says, but this time she's going to take it slow.
And even though she's 32 years old, you can just tell how young and just naive in some ways she is.
Absolute lack of life experience.
Right,
She just doesn't have it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Wow.
fascinating.
What's fascinating is how her story is taking hold with so many people.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, young people are obsessed. It's part of why she has such a huge social media following. I asked my kids about it. They're all obsessed with her.
Did you hear that Juju said that the kids are obsessed with Gypsy Rose? Gypsy also mentioned that she has a younger following and she knows that, right? What I thought was really funny is Juju said that her kids are obsessed with Gypsy Rose. Like, girl, so you want the Diddy special? Because you haven't done your research. Juju, do you want the Diddy special? That's a real question. I'm asking for a friend because I just think this is wild. I mean, am I the only one thinking this? I can't be.
Very, very, very well. And there's so much more, I know, for your interview. And you can see more of Juju's interview with Gypsy on Nightline. And Gypsy Rose, Life After Lockup, premieres Monday night, June 3rd on Lifetime.
Y'all, this is my breakdown of this so far. I need y'all to drop down below your thoughts because I'm sure y'all have some thoughts that I may not have even mentioned. But I just think this whole thing was kind of crazy. Bye-bye for now. Y'all, Gypsy Rose is a fraud. Like, her family, I want y'all to see this. This is about to blow your wig cap back.
They had done some tests and found out she had a chromosome
Out
disorder
of the
that
man's
was
mouth.
causing all of her functions from developing, her digestive system and her muscular system.
Have it. Her own dad said that disorder that I spoke on in my video stems from all of the issues that she had. So is it still really Munchausen by proxy? All of y'all that keep saying that I'm tripping, am I a doctor, do I know? There's the proof. What else do you want? Y'all, they all frauds. Now, if you don't know what I'm speaking about, go to the link in my bio and look at the video on YouTube that says Exposing Gypsy Rose. Right in the link in my bio. This is going to blow your mind because this is just proof. Miss Ma'am, Gypsy Rose never had a trial. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You come on the internet, you think you know what you're talking about, and you don't. It's been proven. It's out there. She never had a trial. She took a plea deal. That was the issue, and it was a political plea deal. You haven't done your research. Like I said, I have came with receipts. They're all over my page. Don't come on here being uneducated because the information is in your face. So if you want to be willfully ignorant, that's your prerogative. But this right here, it just shows that you don't even know what you're talking about. Let's get cute, spill a little tea, and act like we got somewhere important to be. because the world is on fire. And I'm just doing my brows. Child, let's get into it. Okay, where do I begin? Oh, Diddy's in court every 5 minutes. At this point, the judge needs a punching card. Buy 9 motions, get 1 free. Because, baby, every time you turn around, they're trying to file a mistrial. Diddy's up in arms. His defense team is like, slow down. This is too much evidence. Yeah, it's 28 years of evidence, Bookie. Meanwhile, Gypsy Rose is on her apology tour, but every time she logs into a live, it's given oops. All trauma. Like, girl, either you changed or you're just changing wigs. Because it's given I'm the old me, just in a different body. I don't even know if it's a different body, but whatever. And then the Chrisleys are just getting back on reality TV. Todd said the feds got effed, which is given wild and unhinged. But whatever. And Lifetime said, roll the cameras. The audacity is filming in 4K for me. Like, what is really happening? Look, I'm all for a redemption story, but when you come out and say, F the feds and they got effed, I feel like you're kind of making a mockery. Look, I don't dislike them. I just feel like the world is watching. And they can be a story that shows redemption is real. And I just don't know if they're teaching that. And now Larry Hoover just got his sentence commuted. The streets are confused. The government is confused. I'm confused, but also I'm contouring. So who really wins? But what I really don't understand is how is it a known gangster leader? People really are like, well, let's try and see if the governor will give him a clemency. Are we for real right now? What is happening? All this mess got me thinking, do I need to be a lawyer or just start charging folks for court commentary? Because I got my PhD in T already. This Larry Hoover stuff really, really blew my mind. The Chrisleys, I am fine with them. I am fine with them being out. I just feel like the public is watching and it could really be a lesson that could be learned. So it needs to be addressed very uniquely. But I don't know. What do y'all think? Don't tell me I'm crazy because I don't feel like I am. But I will say my PhD in T, I think is working. What do y'all think? Anyway, if this is simulation, then whoever's coding it has got to be drunk, blindfolded, and picking plot lines out of a hat because nothing's making sense anymore. We've got billionaires beefing with reality stars, convicted felons getting reality TV show spinoffs, and Gypsy Rose is doing TikToks and YouTube like she's America's next top influencer. At this point, I'm convinced the server's overheating and the AI is bored, and I'm just trying to contour through the chaos. But stay tuned, stay seated, and stay ready because the tea pouring never stops. Grab a snack, grab some tea, and grab some holy water. We're going to need all three because this Diddy trial has now entered full scandal simulation mode. We've got ex-assistants talking about being denied funerals, Suge Knight giving courtroom advice from a cell, and grown men throwing pasta like toddlers in timeout. Let's get into it. So Mia, Diddy's former assistant, took the stand, and baby, she did not hold back. She testified under oath that she was not allowed to lock her bedroom door at night. I'm sorry, what kind of adult employment contract is that? She wasn't allowed to sleep or rest properly. She was at Diddy's beck and call, and every whimper she had to get up. He once called her in rage in 2023. She was so scared she threw her phone and ran out her house. That's not an assistant. That's trauma with a time card. Now here's where it gets even messier. Mia said she begged Diddy to get permission to go to her own grandmother's funeral. And not only did she have to beg, she said he made her feel bad about it, like a guilt trip. Somebody wants to make someone feel bad over the dead, and your grandmother? That's dark. That's not control. That's spiritual warfare. And yes, the infamous spaghetti incident, Mia testified that that was at 3 a.m. Diddy got so angry, he threw a plate of spaghetti at her. Now, I don't know what y'all are arguing about at 3 a.m. that involves marinara sauce, but if a grown billionaire starts throwing pasta at the help, I'm calling an extortionist. That's not bad boy life energy. That's Chef Boyardee meets courtroom trauma. Enter Suge Knight. Yes, Suge Knight. From prison. He decides to chime in like he's a guest star on a podcast version of his trial. I know, it's crazy. Suge literally said Diddy should testify in federal court because it would help him humanize himself to the jury. Now let's unpack that. When Suge Knight, the same man who allegedly hung people off balconies, is telling you to take the stand and explain yourself, maybe it's time to unplug the mic and meditate, because that's like Charles Manson telling you how to win a custody battle. Make it make sense. What's wild is Suge is probably right. Diddy hasn't said a word, and with so many witnesses throwing up stories involving beatings, threesomes, lawsuits, NDAs, and now spaghetti, the silence is given. I know I did it, but I'm rich. What's scary about this whole situation is Mia's story sounds a lot like a pattern. We've heard Cassie talk about being isolated, monitored, and denied privacy. Mia's saying the same thing, but from an employee standpoint. No doors locked, no sleep, always scared, and had to have permission to be human. Diddy allegedly kept her in a mental chokehold just to maintain power. That's not business. That's psychological warfare. And remember, this isn't the second assistant speaking out. Capricorn Clark also testified to violence and threats. These stories are stacking up like receipts on the Sephora return. At this point, this trial has become more than just Diddy. It's about what happens when powerful men go unchecked for decades. It's about how the music industry protects predators behind beats and bottles. It's about how silence gets paid for NDAs. And the truth gets buried in lawsuits until now. We're watching the curtains fall on someone who was untouchable for years. And these women, these assistants, they're pulling out every receipt out of the archives. I don't know what's worse, the spaghetti assault, the denial of the funeral, or Suge Knight trying to be Jimmy Cricket of the courtroom. All I know is this trial is not even about guilt or innocence anymore. It's about how much mess is going to come out and unravel in front of the courtroom. Y'all, stay tuned, stay seated, and stay ready, because you know the tea pouring never stops. Breaking news. President Trump has hinted towards a potential pardon for Diddy, who's currently on trial for serious federal charges. Let's unpack this. During a recent press conference, President Trump stated that he'd look into the facts, and if Diddy were convicted, he emphasized he hasn't followed the trial closely and hasn't spoken to Diddy in years. Trump mentioned that if he believes someone was mistreated, he'd consider a pardon. Regardless of personal feelings, this comes admin Diddy's trial for sex trafficking, racketeering charges where he has pled not guilty. With the trial ongoing and testimonies unfolding, the possibility of a presidential pardon adds a whole nother layer of complex to this case. I'll keep you updated as more information becomes available, but y'all, stay tuned, stay seated, and stay ready, because the tea never stops pouring. And I'm going to be honest, I feel like this is a whistleblow call to say if you could pay what you can weigh, baby, don't worry about what you got going on. Look, I might be wrong. I'm just saying, that's my theory. Being that Trump is considering pardoning Diddy, I guarantee you the jury will not convict him, because they know it is over for them if they do. I can almost guarantee you you're not going to see a whole lot of witnesses being willing to speak up anymore. So, we're making America great again. Yep. Y'all won this time. Y'all really did a good job. But you know, the funny part about this situation is they're one and the same. And if it wasn't a hint to you, a lot of articles that TMZ posted, they posted with pictures of Diddy and Trump. I feel like TMZ has been low-key telling us what's up subliminally without actually saying it. And yeah. I mean, but once you've seen Larry Hoover, should that have been a surprise to anybody? I don't think so. Just commuted Larry Hoover, the most infamous rug lord and gangster leader that actually even has charges for unaliving people. Yeah. The most infamous kingpin. Do you really think he wouldn't? He was running a criminal enterprise while being incarcerated. That is what Larry Hoover's charges federally was for. 1 + 1 is 2. Like, trust me, the writing is on the wall.